Welcome back, guys, to the Couch Coverage. Today, we're going to talk about the big news that happened, the Jalen Ramsey trade from Miami Dolphins to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Great.
And that's going to be a conversation for a lot of people. This is exciting news, and I think it's going to affect both teams in many ways. So let's talk about it. Let's just jump right into it. All right, guys, what do you think about this situation, this trade? Who wants to start first? Kevin, you got a thought on this?
Nope.
What's up with the Dolphins, man, trading for old players? They already had Minka, and they could have signed him way back long ago, and now they have to.
That's a
trade
good
off
point.
To get him back.
That's a good point. But when I look at it, I think most of the people out there looking at this, I was trying to see how take a feel of the fans and some of the the experts out there in the field. And a lot of them, they're really actually looking at Miami having the edge here because, for one thing, Jalen Ramsey is 30 years old. And even though he is productive, how long is he going to really be with the Steelers when Fitzpatrick, he's 28, and he's still really actually, even though his playing has not been as well as it's been a couple years ago, he's still very strong. And I know a lot of the Pittsburgh fans, they were happy to see Jalen Ramsey coming. And then you heard, we gave up, Fitzpatrick. They're making all of the TikToks and the little things on it because they're not happy about that. And I'm not happy as a Dolphin fan to lose Smith. I really did. I made a video on that. I like Smith. But I think the Dolphins got the edge here with the age. And I think Jalen, he wasn't going to really want to play this year. They already agreed to part ways. So I know I'm a Dolphin fan and I'm a little biased, but I do believe because of the age, they're going to have the advantage in the trade. And Smith, he wanted more money. And that was a cap space issue too. So I have a feeling they had a plan there. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Jarrell, what do you think?
You can go, Jarrell. You're muted, buddy.
I forgot about that. So to me, I think Pittsburgh came out on top personally. I think they're probably going for like an all-in season. With Rodgers coming back for probably one more year, they're getting them an extra offensive tight end there. They can hit midfield. You got another defensive player. The only problem I have is they have three at Ramsey's position now, three cornerbacks. But I did read something about it has allowed them to kind of like target play depending on what offense that they're going against, so they can kind of rotate those players out now and kind of have a different defense geared towards each offense that they're going against. So I think that gives them the advantage there personally.
I agree with Jarrell. I don't think the age thing matters, like Jarrell said. I think they plan on winning a Super Bowl this year, right? With you're not signing Aaron Rodgers to expect to win the Super Bowl in the next 5 years. Like, it's a one-year deal. He's a grandpa. I agree with Jarrell on the age thing.
And how old was Minka Fitzpatrick?
He's 28.
28, a couple of years younger.
Yeah, I don't understand how Miami can also let go their best tight end. Like, dude was majority of their offense last season. How many games did he win for them?
I personally think Miami's not done. I actually think they're going to go for somebody else because if you actually look at their depth chart here, they have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, all right, and they're like, they're inconsistent with the injuries. Then they have Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, that was the Titans wide receiver who was catching all those touchdowns. And that's really it. I mean, Malik Washington's obviously going to have to step up, and now their new tight end is Julian Hill. I don't even know who that is. So I think that the Dolphins are actually going to go and get like a veteran in the free agency, and I actually have some notable ones written down here if we want to go over them real quick. So some wide receivers for the receiving game. I have Mari Cooper, Keenan Allen, Gabe Davis, Nelson Aguilar, Tyler Boyd, even Odell Beckham, if they want to go back to him, but that didn't really work out last time he was there. And then DJ Chark were some notable ones that I saw. Tight ends, we got Jordan Adkins, Hayden Hurst, CJ Uzomah, and then my probably personal favorite is Gerald Everett, the Rams tight end.
Not bad.
So I think they will end up picking up one of those guys because they don't really have much more to go to, and honestly, their depth chart doesn't look that great. Like if Tyreek or Jalen Waddle goes down, who's going in there? I think Miami's not done in the free agency here.
Don't play on my boy Malik Washington. He was underrated last year. I like.
I agree.
Yeah.
He might be a sneaky pick for fantasy too.
I think he'll be fun to watch.
I think they're going to lean on him more, from what I understand from the Dolphin circles. And I mean, Smith signed a $12 million extension, so that was going to be expensive for the Dolphins. And now they cut that cap space. And I think Zach's right. From what I hear, they're not done in free agency now. They got a little bit of space. They're going to probably look at some other options. So it'd be interesting. One thing I still wonder, though, is now that they that go into the Steelers, now that they got Ramsey and they really got a pretty good defensive set, do you think it's as important now for them to sign TJ Watt or trade him?
Sign him.
Sign him.
He's a different breed. You can't just pick that guy up anywhere. He's a special player. You got to sign him again.
Yeah, because now they're saying there's teams now trying to offer more things to him. They believe he may be available. So it'd be interesting to me because to this point, I understand they haven't been interested to trade in him. But now, they may have some, if they get offered enough, they may be open to it. But he is a good player, and if they do keep him, I think that does help that defense a lot.
Pass structures are important these days. Hey, think about it. People say if Aiden Hutchinson never got hurt, Lions would have won the Super Bowl this year. That's how dominant he was on that Lions defense.
That's a very good example, to be honest with you. Very good example. They did pick up Zadarius Smith halfway through the season after he got hurt, and they were doing well with him. But, I mean, Bailey's right. Like, Aiden Hutchinson is TJ Watt level. You know what I mean? If you have somebody on the edge like that is just going to get at the quarterback every single play, it's a total game changer for your defense. It helps everywhere. It helps all the defensive backs. So, I do agree. I think you pay him. That's point blank. Pay the man.
Now, one question I have is, I know we're going to talk a little bit about this when we talk about a segment on a division and division teams, but do you think what they have done so far with the Steelers is enough to get them to go ahead of Cincinnati and the Ravens? Or are they still going to be third place in the division, you think?
Fourth.
Wow.
But we'll get into that later.
The Browns will have a better team.
You think Browns are going to do still better?
They got four better quarterbacks than Aaron Rodgers. So
that's facts. Darrell, why are you shaking your head no over there? You got something to say, Darrell? And he's muted again. Here we go. All right. Let's try. It's not going to work.
That's like I'm going to save my comments.
Okay.
When we hit the next
later.
I didn't want to say something before we move on, though, because I feel like no one's talking about this. How is Jalen Ramsey and DK Metcalf going to get along? Dude, they would fist fight on the field, and now they're teammates. Yes. I want to see somebody needs to record their practices because I'm intrigued now because they're like, dude, they hated each other. Even the mic'd up films with them were so funny. They would fist fight. They did not like each other. They would talk crap about each other in interviews, and now they're going to go try to win a Super Bowl together, which I find pretty funny. I forgot. No one's really talking about that.
I will say when Jalen Ramsey came to the Dolphins, he also had beef with Tyreek Hill in the past. Like there was beef there as well, and they kind of had settled that. I mean, who knows? Maybe that's why they traded him away because he couldn't get along with the people in the locker room. I'm sure in a couple weeks, maybe months, we'll hear about that.
A lot of NFL players say Jalen Ramsey is one of the best trash talkers on the field. So it might not even be a personal thing. It's just probably to get in their head so he can beat them in the game.
Yeah. And it's funny when you guys when you both have the goal of winning the Super Bowl, it all of a sudden everyone's friends now. And that's what a lot of these NFL players hate each other until they're teammates, and then they're best friends. At least until they move to another team.
Right. That's all I had to say about that. I just wanted to bring that up.
I wonder how this will also impact Jonnu Smith with his fantasy football value. Now they still have Pat Freiermuth over there, so are they going to be running double tight end? I mean, I feel like they kind of because if you look at their wide receivers, you four right now, can you name anyone other than DK Metcalf?
Nope. No.
On the Steelers?
Yeah. No. Name another wide receiver. I mean, I know I can, but can you guys
for fantasy wise, no.
Right, you can't think of anything. So Calvin Austin is really the next best there. Maybe Roman Wilson, he was a rookie last year, but he got hurt before the season even started. But I think that Jonnu Smith was supposed to be one of those other weapons because I do think they're trying to win now. I don't think the Steelers are a good enough team to do that. I mean, their offense is just still going to be too trash, in my opinion. But I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll go after one of those free agents, like I said, and get another veteran to go in there along with DK Metcalf.
I do think when we're talking about fantasy football, this does create a dilemma for people who were thinking about drafting Smith, because they know what they got from Tua throwing to him last year. So I think people are expecting to see that again this year. Now you have a whole totally different system. We don't know what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. Is he going to throw to him like Tua did? And so as a fantasy pickup, do you think this drops Smith's value or raises it?
I'd say it probably raises it, because it would be the same as if when he was on the Dolphins. If Rodgers only has one target and DK Metcalf, he's going to have to go to the tight end option, just like Tua had no wide receiver option really, or the one that they had left was getting shut down, so they had to go to the tight end.
But they have another tight end over there.
That guy didn't do anything beforehand. I think Jonnu Smith might outdo him.
That's the one thing they're going to, are they going to compete? Or I think Smith could beat him out.
Yeah, for sure. Here's another thing to think about. Wait, who's the Steelers running back again? It was a rookie they just drafted, right? Or am I who's their number one running back?
Wait, which team?
Jalen Warren.
Yeah,
Jalen Warren. Okay,
they Jalen Warren's the vet. If you're talking about the Steelers, then Caleb Johnson was the one they.
That's
drafted.
who I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Is their run game going to be better though? Because now they have 3 big boys blocking: Jonnu Smith, Pat, and DK Metcalf in the blocking game. I wonder if that'll help their run too. A lot more running, maybe, and maybe that rookie is probably excited because receivers block too. People just think of catching. Big receivers like A.J. Brown, Mike Evans, DK Metcalf, they actually block a lot for run plays. If you just watch the games, they help in the blocking on the outside a lot. So that could help him too.
They even have Parker Washington, which he is another tight end on that team, but he's massive. He's
so big.
So big. And obviously they'll give him the ball, but he's clearly a blocking tight end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was the guy that took Darius Slay all the way to the back wall. Do you guys remember that play? And then when everyone was fighting? That's who I'm talking about. That dude is massive. So they got 3 big tight ends, technically.
You know what else is massive?
Maybe they got come up their own version of the tush push.
Whoa, taper fade.
No.
Well, one thing I think will be, if you have talking about fantasy, is Pittsburgh's defense. I think this has probably helped move that up a little bit too. Because I think that's even more than how Smith's going to do himself. That's a little bit of unknown. I think maybe you guys are right, but fantasy for defense, I think that's something that's it's flashy, so people are going to want to draft Steelers. They are typically a top 5 type defense, when you look at the ADP and picking them. Do you think that's going to go up? Do you think you guys personally think Steelers will be on your list of teams you may draft as a defense?
I'm going to draft the Bengals. That's the defense.
Oh, God.
Okay, that was random.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll be my first choice, but I mean, if they're there, then I'll probably take them, yeah.
I'm a strong believer that your fantasy league shouldn't even have a defense. If I had to choose between kicker or defense, obviously I would go towards the defense. But yeah, I mean, Pittsburgh has always been, that team for defensive wise. I mean, that's all they relied on last year. How many times the kicker was doing good because they can only get into field goal range because they were stopping the other team, but their offense couldn't produce. So they were just getting to field goal range, and Chris Boswell was kicking 5 field goals a game.
Okay, well, let me put you guys on the spot. I mean, this is a little bit of your fantasy strategy, but who would you pick on defense for fantasy ahead of the Steelers? If you had to name one right now.
Bucks.
Bucks, okay.
Honestly, a little bias here, but I would probably go Philly. I wouldn't mind doing Philly. But I think a better answer, maybe even the Chiefs. I just don't think the Chiefs, they don't have like that super hard schedule, right? They have like a middle schedule, or are they on the harder side? I can't remember. But they always have a good defense. I mean, in my opinion, that kind of carried Patrick Mahomes a lot last year.
You can't go wrong with Ravens. You can't go wrong with 49ers.
Yeah. But my favorite defense of this year, and I do strongly think they're the number 1 defense, is the Denver Broncos. I think that they will have the best defense.
I think they are actually listed as the top fantasy defense this year. If I'm
the Broncos? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the Broncos and then the Eagles. I don't know who's after that, but I think that's the top 2.
Yeah. I would rather draft Spencer Rattler as a middle linebacker than use the Broncos defense, personally.
MVP right there.
Oh my goodness. Spencer Rattler. No ball knowledge.
Just kidding.
Drink your monster, buddy. Drink your monster. I think what it also comes towards the defenses for fantasy wise, that I think your offense does affect that. Like, I don't think the Pittsburgh has that great of an offense as compared to like the Eagles, the Chiefs, or maybe even the Broncos. So if your offense is just doing terrible, you're putting your defense in a bad spot, and you're going to happen to get less points.
Fair.
Yep.
Fair.
Sounds good.